Anime is one of the biggest cultural phenomenons of this generation. From amazing characters that even the most casual fan would recognize, to fights that get you ready to jump out of your seats, to, that anime just has something for all different types of people. But there are some that should not have the amount of fans or recognition that they get. So I'm going to go through a few shows that I have watched personally and see if they're deserving of all the hate that they get, or if they're just misunderstood and they're actually a pretty dang good anime. So keep in mind, this is my own opinion, and if you don't like that, just let me know what you guys think, and I want to see your guys' side from it as well. So I'll be doing this in kind of a rapid fire section and not like a whole drawn out thing like I usually do, so try to keep up. But without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Seven Deadly Sins is one of those shows that are notoriously popular for a lot of different reasons, but most of it isn't really good. But in all honesty, I thought the beginning of the show was honestly super strong. From an iconic opening to some amazing animation to cool powers and even some amazing fight scenes, it really had a lot of people on lock for a good bit. Like no shit, if we're not including stuff like Pokemon, Seven Deadly Sins was actually my introduction into anime. Like this show had me hooked on so many characters, especially King. Like this dude was by far my favorite in the show, and he still is to this day. But dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think this show had one of the biggest fall offs I have ever seen in my life. Whenever the studio changed entirely around like season 4, this show had just such a huge drop off in quality, like I can't even explain. I mean, what can we expect from a studio that its most recent thing that's put out is Days with My Stepsister? What the actual fuck? By the time that season came out with the new studio, I was already in too deep with the storyline on it, and I was already way too hyped to even stop, so I just continued watching it all the way to the end. I was just really into the story, and like I said, I was new into anime, so I didn't know what was necessarily good minus bad when it came to terms of animation. I just thought it was normal. However, there were a lot of different moments in the newer seasons where I was just sitting there like, is this the same show? In all honesty, I don't know why they changed studios. I mean, like, ooh, I get it. Your movie did bad with your studio, so you don't have enough profit. But bro, get a loan. Although, even with the drop of animation and quality, I did actually enjoy the show. And yes, there were a lot of times that I just could not get behind a lot of the characters. Just like when Bond looks like he's gonna go to a Diddy party, and Meliodas being Meliodas. But good thing they're best friends because they might be sharing a cell together. That's all I'm saying. I mean, that's probably not the best idea considering the last time they were in a prison together, they knocked it down accidentally. So all in all, I just might have a really big soft spot for the show considering it actually was my first anime. Yes, granted, it has a lot of sketchy parts, but I actually do enjoy a lot of it. And in all honesty, I don't think it deserves as much hate as it gets, but I can definitely understand where they're coming from. And I can already see people flooding to saying like, well, how do you like Seven Deadly Sins? It's like so questionable with half of this stuff. Oh, buddy, you ain't ready for this next topic. Okay, I know I said that a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about is stuff that I've seen, but I actually haven't finished the show. All right, before you start booing me, let me explain it because it's probably the exact reason that you're thinking of. But I will say I did give this a good shot, honestly. It had just amazing animation and some of the best fight scenes that I've seen in a long time, and a story that actually really made sense and had me hooked from start to finish. Well, it made sense from the episode that I stopped on, but you kind of get the point. Because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of stopped halfway through season 1. Look, I tried on like 3 different points to pick the show back up, but I keep failing at the exact same thing, man. I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room. The fan service in this anime is absolutely infuriating. And look, I get it. Fan service has been around since like the 90s with One Piece and Naruto having little bits of it. But dude, this is just getting excessive. Like a huge thing in the plot could be happening right in front of your eyes and you just witness a really cool fight scene. And then it just cuts to a character just half naked on the ground. And yes, the character I'm talking about is Tamaki, but guys, can you even blame me? Like, if this was a show that was entirely based around that stuff, I would understand, but dude, it's not supposed to be. Like, when I'm watching something, especially if I'm watching anime, then I would like to not have to look over my shoulder every 5 seconds so somebody doesn't think I'm watching something on anime.com or some shit. And I get that Fire Force is just an amazing show that's all around, but dude, I just can't get past the fan service. Maybe I can in the future, but right now I just can't. Okay, I know this one's a curveball, but just hear me out. A lot of people have just really mixed feelings about the ending and just the whole show altogether. Now, what do I think about the ending? It's mixed for me, honestly. Like, the ending just wasn't a fairy tale ending, which a lot of people just didn't like, but at the same time, it just left a bad taste in my mouth because just didn't really make all that sense. Like, it made sense in the sense of the story, you know, but it just didn't make sense in the reality part of it, if that makes any sense. All in all, this show is actually really good and I highly recommend it to anybody. It's an amazing mystery anime with a lot of twists and turns. It was just the ending just kind of just up for grabs if you do like it or not. Although it does get a lot of slack for the ending, I don't think an ending make or breaks an anime. Yes, it is kind of lackluster, but it just doesn't really take that much of the story if it just doesn't end properly, you know?
Those morons are probably pushing past their limits right now. Just like I'm about to. This is the biggest dump the world's ever seen.
Now this one is kind of personal with me because as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Black Clover. I mean, Black Clover was the main thing I talked about in my first ever anime video, so I might like it a little bit. And yes, I still do agree that Black Clover is better than My Hero, so if you have a problem with that, well, that's not changing my mind anytime soon. Although with me saying that, I'm not saying it's perfect. And in reality, it's definitely far from it. Black Clover is just one of those animes that's really hard to get into is because it's just all in your face really quickly at the beginning. Like, Asta is just straight up a sensory overload whenever you first start watching the show. Like, I can't even lie, I was even debating dropping it. And to be fair, he is still kind of loud now, but it's kind of more tailor-made in the way that Dragon Ball is kind of loud. Like, it's not in your face, and it's really important whenever he does, and especially in high-stakes moments, but it's not like I'm loud all the time now. It's for sure toned down a lot more, and it makes it just really easier to watch now, which makes my enjoyment of the show skyrocket even more. So once you just push through those moments, I promise you, you will be open to a world that's full of amazing characters, amazing world building, and probably some of the great power systems that you're probably going to see in the next generation. As somebody who's a big fan of this show, I highly recommend people going out and spending time and watching it, but I do understand if you don't want to get into it at first, and I totally agree, it's just that you'll be missing out.
Chocolate rain? T-Pain? Why you ignoring me, bro? You got cotton in your ears? Oh God, I didn't mean it like that.
Okay, to be honest, I've only watched season 1 of SAO, so I'm not really the best at this. However, I do know somebody that actually has watched it all the way through and actually knows a thing or two. So, take it away.
So y'all don't know me very well, but I am Bakaback Productions, aka Wyatt. I was brought in to bring my quote-unquote professional experience into the mix here for this next segment. Today we're going to be talking about Sword Art Online. So pretty much from the countless times I have watched everything built up to the midsection, which, you know, everybody can understand what I mean that's watched that Wilhelm. It was really good. Christmas scene really was a tearjerker for me whenever it first aired and I was able to actually watch it. It hit like a truck, but that's because I have a soft heart sometimes. Other than that, everything was really good. It felt a little rushed, I'm not gonna lie to you. There was some points where it could have like explained itself a lot more. Instead, they decided to just skip that portion and move on to the next portion, which is fair. Whenever they introduced the child into the mix, that got a little weird as well. Now, do I think it was a little obsessive and over the top? Yes, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was pretty weird at first. Once you got used to it and you just kind of ignored it. Again, but with the exception of Wilhelm. That section and that person in particular, you know who I'm talking about, is a little weird. Which that part right there is the reason why people don't like it half the time. Moving on to Alicization, that one was really good. I enjoyed that a lot more than I care to admit. It could have gone into more detail. Again, that's the biggest portion that I have wrong with the creators of Sword Art Online is there's a lot of missing details that you can find, and you're scratching your head like, okay, I guess that makes sense, you know. And then a couple episodes down the line, it's just like, okay, I guess that kind of finishes up what it's supposed to be. That's a really cheap explanation, but it is what it is. Now, Kirito is a little overpowered in the beginning and then overshadowed towards the end. Now, do I think that whole storyline with Alicization could have been avoided? Yes. All he had to do was just say no to research, and then boom, it was the end of the series. We all live happily ever after, go on and so forth. Kirito, again, overpowered in the beginning, could have been avoided in the end. Also, I do think he could have easily been killed. That man could have just died in the very beginning, and the whole thing could have never happened. But of course, you know, you gotta have that plot armor somewhere along the way. A lot of people criticize the art style and the English forces of it. I'm not gonna lie to you, some of the English portions versus the actual translation from the Japanese version is pretty funny. In my opinion, SAO is a solid 7 out of 10. If that one season wasn't there and it was gone into a little bit more detail, I would give it an 8 or 9 out of 10, maybe a 9.5 at the highest. The dark ages of SAO happened, and then it kept showing through the other portions. So it was just a little weird, just a little weird. Okay, so we don't talk about it. We move on and we pretend like it never happened, and Alicization happens. Do I think they should continue it? I think they should. I think there's a couple more things you could do. I think there's a way you can actually take it and be like, hey, this ain't the actual storyline anymore. We're branching off. You can make this portion of it, but it's just a fact of if they want to. So anyways, I'm out. This is Wyatt, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.
Oh, okay. This might turn into a tangent real quick, so I apologize in advance. Okay, like, let's be honest. This show did not need to exist at all. In all honesty, all of the best moments that happen in this show, in my opinion, don't even come from Boruto. They come from the characters from Naruto. Okay, Boruto fans, walk with me here. Walk with me. People that are defending this show, let me ask you, what are some of the most viewed and most well-known scenes from that show? And why are all of them Naruto? And oh my god, don't get me started on the amount of filler episodes this shit has. Like, yes, I get it. The original Naruto series had a lot of filler, but god, this one makes it close second. And you guys are probably thinking, especially the people who have never seen this, well, the actual show itself should be kind of decent, right? Right? I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you that this show is just as trash as the Seven Deadly Sins animation in the last few seasons. Like, this is garbage. Like, I swear, like, half of the reactions I have to this show is just, why? Like, to this day, I will say that this series, Naruto and Boruto shouldn't exist, and Naruto should have ended with him becoming Hokage and marrying Hinata. That is it. Because, dude, because of this show, and because of what they were trying to do for the show, Naruto doesn't even attend his own Hokage ceremony. All of the clips that you see of him being sworn in and then waving to the crowd as the new Hokage aren't even Naruto. It's Konohamaru. And the reason why he couldn't attend is because Boruto hid behind Naruto and his daughter knocked Naruto out, causing him to miss his own ceremony. Now you guys are probably wondering, why would you care so much? Like, it's just a ceremony. What? This dude had generational amounts of trauma. His sensei died, which was basically his father figure that actually trained his dad, watched multiple of his friends die in his arms, crashed out multiple times for a village that didn't even care about him, and then on top of all of that, saved the entire world just for him to achieve his goal of being Hokage. And all of us wanted, all of the Naruto fans wanted, was just to watch him walk the stage. And no, we can't even have that. We can't even have that because of this. I'm pissed. And to top it all off, in this show, I swear to God, they killed Kurama, the tailed beast that was inside of him since a little kid, that he finally was able to have his trust to, and that these two had such a good bond with each other, just for the show to kill him! I don't care that Naruto got a new form, because guess what? He can't even use it anymore. And then two, I don't care that he's technically still alive. Yes, I know that he's inside of Naruto's daughter. I know that he's inside of Himawari. That doesn't make it better. He shouldn't be in Himawari. He should be in Naruto. Burn the show to the ground. I don't care that there's a lot of cool scenes with Naruto and Sasuke. I do not care. I am okay with sacrificing those scenes if that doesn't mean that this show sees the light of day again and is wiped from history books. Please, God. All right, that is all the ones I wanted to talk about today. Now, with that being said, a lot of these animes actually have some amazing moments in them. Which ones, you might ask? I'll let you judge on which ones I actually think are good or not. All in all, some anime definitely for sure deserve just at least a second look. However, some of them don't really deserve to see the light of day any way, shape, or form. Also, I might make a part 2 to this, depending on how good this does. So if you guys have any suggestions, just let me know. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of y'all's day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. See ya!